Red Bud Track and Trail hosts the AMA Toyota Motocross Championship presented by FMF. And the great fans up here in the upper Midwest are streaming in to enjoy the Monster Energy Kawasaki Red Bud National here in Michigan. It is round 5 of 12 of the Motocross Championship, and we are right in the meat of the season. Yes, some of the wacky fans, they grow them young up here. And I'm Brian Drever along with David Pingree. Erin Bates doing the honors for us out on the trackside, and she'll be enjoying herself here today, certainly as these young fans are as well. So we welcome you. Great motocross action here as Ricky Carmichael, James Stewart, Chad Reed, and the rest of the stars put on a show for these fans out here today. And David Pingree, it's always a fun time to come to Michigan.
Yeah, the fans are special around here. They crack the cheap beers early, and they stay till they're good and sunburned, and they always get to see some good racing, though. That's one thing that's great about Red Bud.
Well, founder Gene Ritchie and his family doing a great job of putting on the race. There's RC getting ready to go as he leads the championship and is running on a streak of wins. We're taking a look at last week, minus James Bubba Stewart for the most part. Ricky Carmichael kind of had his way with the field.
Yeah, he got good starts, and with the exception of a little bit of a challenge with Chad Reed here, he pretty much ran away with these motos.
Chad Reed did challenge earlier, but once Ricky Carmichael got around, as the two of them battled for a little while here, it was Carmichael's show, even some contact to the pleasure of the fans. And James Bubba Stewart is back. So what's his agenda now that he's pretty much out of the championship chase? Erin Bates talked to him.
From here on out, all I'm going to do is try to, make myself get better. I think, it's a good chance for us to actually work on the bike and make it better for next year, and make the program solid for next year. And we still got a lot of races, and and we want to win too. But I think at this point all we can do is just make everything better. So when we go into 07, just everything will be a little easier and smoother, and it should work out great.
I think for 2007, Kawasaki probably doesn't have a lot of big changes planned to that 450, and if they can really get that thing fine-tuned this year, that'll just carry right over into next season.
How about Nick Way, third in the championship?
It's definitely was a goal of mine to be top 3 in the series, and thus far I've been able to do that. So just looking to get on the podium and keep getting in the top 5 every moto, and definitely looking forward to having a good race here in front of my hometown crowd.
Well, you can tell by how straight his hat brim was. He's been staying out in California. But Nick's back in Michigan now for the rest of the summer, and definitely going to be working hard, try to stay in the top 3. That's an amazing feat for a privateer.
Now, what did practice tell us this week here at Red Bud? Sometimes practice has a lot to do with the race, sometimes not.
Yeah, a lot of times lap times in practice can be a good indicator of where guys are going to end up. But at the end of the day, it's just practice. You know what I mean? They're not out there racing yet, and when the gate drops, usually things change up quite a bit.
Bubba Stewart and Ricky Carmichael finding each other during one of the practice sessions here and maybe checking out a little bit of each other's lines and opportunities. James Stewart back. Of course, the question is, how hard will he be able to ride? He's still sort of recovering from injuries. Practice times, Carmichael on top, James Stewart second. We've gotten used to seeing that as well. Now, Erin Bates has got a few special guests.
Well, in each and every sport, there's wild and crazy fans, but let me tell you, the wildest of the fans here in Moto are here at Red Bud. And the reason being, for the last 33 years, this round has landed on the 4th of July weekend, which definitely helps for the party. These fans behind me, they do wild and crazy things. They tattoo Red Bud into themselves. They shave their head with Red Bud. They've even gone as far as bringing their furniture from home and lighting a bonfire here at Red Bud. And the crowd behind me, they're going to be cheering the loudest, though, because right in front of us, the LaRocco's Leap that was named after Mike LaRocco is the biggest jump on the entire circuit. And whether or not that jump is here, this crowd's going to be yelling Red Bud as loud as they can.
Wow, that's you don't get to see a lot of that when you're racing. You hear them screaming, kind of see them in your peripheral, but to get a good look up close at them, those are a special animal down there.
Well, and that is 9 o'clock in the morning when most people are just having a second cup of coffee. These folks are wound up already, and why not? They have got a great motocross race coming up here. At least we certainly think so. Here's our Honda starting lineup. Ricky Carmichael, Chad Reed, and Nick Way, the top 3 in the points, and the rest of the starting field here. It should be a good one.
Yeah, it should. I think everybody's definitely anticipating the return of James Stewart. Those two have had great battles, he and Ricky Carmichael, when they've raced this year. So I don't know why this weekend would be any different. I think everyone's looking forward to another great battle.
Well, the 30-second board up and sideways means the start's going to happen real soon. And as the gates drop, we'll see who takes the whole shot award here, pulls it out in front. Off they go. Looking for the number 7 there, Stewart, 22, Chad Reed, and out in front, however, it is the 4 of Ricky Carmichael. He gets the whole shot. There's a little bit of mayhem going on behind him, but Carmichael is your leader.
And Stewart's right behind, so these two are in a perfect position to race for the win.
And it looked like Davey Millsaps on the 118. We're used to seeing him among the top 3 as well. So Millsaps right in the mix as well. Carmichael out in front, Stewart not that far behind him. Millsaps is there. Chad Reed making a challenge for 3rd position and gets it.
Nick Wey, the hometown guy, not too far back, just a couple positions behind them, so he could play into this as well. This is his home track. I'm sure he's very familiar with the course, although there are a lot of changes like this off-camber here, which is completely new for this year.
Davey Millsaps taking the low line, crossing it back the other way. Carmichael up on the high ledge that has started to form here since the early part of the weekend. Carmichael, Stewart, and now Chad Reed in 3rd, Millsaps 4th.
And this whole infield section here on the south side of the racetrack is brand new. They definitely spent a lot of time reworking it, brought in a lot of sand, a lot of wood chips, sawdust, really mixing the soil up to get it soft and holding water well. And even the layout is much different than it used to be in the past. They're just completely different sections. So a guy like Nick Wey, who is used to this track, might not have the advantage that he normally would.
A 33rd visit to the Redbud Track and Trail, and they do not rest on their laurels here. They keep trying to make this place better, more interesting, and provide racing that the fans can enjoy. We've already seen the crazy fans. Now we're watching the racing. There's Millsaps and the rest of the field streaming through. Carmichael out in front, and so far kind of having his way with things.
Stewart's not really pressuring. It'll be interesting to see if he's 100%. You know, he did take 2 really hard falls. I don't know if physically he's 100%, but even taking some time off the bike and just getting out of your program, and the physical and the mental side of crashing really hard like that twice, it's got to take something out of you.
Chad Reed, who is sitting 2nd in the championship because of his consistency on that Yamaha. And Nick Wey, also very, very consistent, has him in 3rd position, even though he doesn't have any wins. So Chad Reed continues to be a part of the championship picture here, even though he has found it difficult to beat either James Stewart or Ricky Carmichael. Carmichael, not a big lead over Stewart, who seems to be getting a little bit closer now. It's still early in the first moto, and these riders have a lot of work to do today. Carmichael around the big sweeping turn. James Stewart not that far behind, and the 2 of them not that far in front of Chad Reed. So everybody pretty well spaced out there, the first 4 riders anyway. There's David Villeman.
Yeah, they kind of all spread out already a little bit. And it seems like James can't really match Ricky's pace. You know, if he's got the speed, as we've seen a lot this year, he'll run right up on the back of Ricky, and he'll start challenging him for the lead immediately. I don't think that he would, as a strategy, wait until later in the race. I mean, that's Ricky's forte, is being strong late in the race. So it seems like if James has something for him, he's going to throw it out right now.
Villeman and Nick Wey, 5th and 6th positions. Go back and look at the start of this race. Watch the number 4, Ricky Carmichael.
See him lean a little bit, kick the foot out there to keep his balance.
Put a little spook into Kevin Windham there. K-Dub had to back away from that foot.
I think he kicked his front brake lever as he went by.
Here's Nick Wey in 6th position, 3rd in the championship. We heard from him before the race started. And starting to sprinkle just a little bit. Constant threat of rain here. Humidity is, as you would imagine, just about at the saturation point. Temperature in the 80s. And lots of new track to deal with here, but everybody seems to be enjoying themselves.
Even though the temperature is not that hot, with the humidity that high and the rain coming down, you really sweat a lot, particularly guys who don't live back east or in the southeast where it's humid. So it's critical to stay hydrated. Guys will be drinking water all week long leading up to this race. And
oof.
That was a sticky landing.
I would say so. It almost planted it. But Carmichael gets it going again. James Stewart pulled a little bit closer to him. You also have to wonder that the new 4-strokes work a little bit better under these conditions, perhaps, than all the super tuning 2-strokes had to be. Progressive. Motocross class, moto number 1, the Monster Energy Kawasaki Redbud National. Ricky Carmichael out in front. And things seem to be changing just a little bit No, he's already into traffic. That's what it is. I saw a different motorcycle in second spot. James Stewart still is in the runner-up position. And we go back to Villeman and Kevin Windham in the number 14 has moved up.
Yeah, it looks like Ricky's pretty much checked out here, and Stewart's fallen off a little bit, maybe just trying to settle in, get a good couple of consistent motos in or something, after he's been off for a couple weeks. The battle here, Windham certainly wants to get by Villeman and does. Villeman looks like he almost let him go there, gave him a little look.
Nick Way is behind David Villeman now, so K-Dub moves into 5th position on his Sobe Honda. And the number 14, we saw him at the very, very start, working his way past the Frenchman Villeman.
And sometimes, you see Villeman let him by. Maybe he's thinking, oh, Windham's faster than me. He caught me. He's going to pass me. Maybe I'm better off just letting him go. I'll follow his lines and maybe try to suck in behind him, and we'll work our way forward together. Or maybe he's tired and he's headed backwards. Not sure. It looks like Nick Way just went by as well.
So, yes, Kevin Windham goes past. Nick Way goes by too. Villeman seems to have sort of surrendered just a little bit. 2 spots anyway. Nick Way in front of Villeman right now. Maybe David's thinking about Francis chance in the World Cup.
Well, there's no Italians out here, so he's got more French fans here than he does Italians, that's for sure.
A little more at stake. Of course, we're dipping way into another sport here as Villeman continues to fade back behind Nick Way.
You can watch here how hard they've got to get on the gas to get over LaRocco's leap. Everything they've got, sit down into the suspension to compress it and get a little more lift. You can see Villeman not even doing it. I mean, it takes a lot of effort to get up and over that thing.
That's a very, very big jump. Of course, named for Mike LaRocco. Back in the old 125 days, he was one of the few that could clear it. And David Villeman now is in danger of losing another position. Tim Ferry coming up behind him on number 15.
This is a great ride for Red Dog. He's been out for the last couple of years, it seems like, with a nagging wrist injury. He's had surgery on it, didn't heal right. Surgery, I don't know if it was the surgeon who didn't do the right thing or it just wasn't healing on its own, but he's really struggled with it. He keeps trying to come back and re-injures it or aggravates it. Finally, it seems like it's healed, and he's making a run at the Nationals this summer, and his results have steadily improved. Now here he is running towards the front of the pack, and it's good to see him back.
One of the real personable stars of this sport, Timmy Ferry. As we're watching a very spread out Moto number 1 here, not a lot of battling going on. We're just getting a chance to see kind of the different styles and different lines and what these different riders do under these conditions. Villeman definitely coming under assault now by Tim Ferry, and that'll be for 7th place.
Ferry's always been known for his consistency. He actually won a 125 championship for Suzuki back in the day. Never winning a main event. So, I think he got second at every single round, but through consistency won the championship.
Well, they say consistency wins championships, and for good reason, because when you go back and look through the record books, it is often exactly that way. Davey Millsaps in the number 118 just in front of Kevin Windham, both on Hondas. Millsaps kind of the young star for the Honda camp, and Kevin Windham, the man who's carried the flag for Honda for the last couple of seasons.
K-Dub got a decent start this moto, which has probably been one of his better starts all year. We've been giving him a little bit of a hard time, but he said he's having trouble getting the shift as he comes out of the gate, getting the next shift in the right time. Either he's a little long or a little quick with it. So he's struggled. He's been outside the top 10 most of the time. And what he's talking about, if you don't shift, usually most of them start in second gear. If you let second gear run too long, and it's very difficult to hear your bike where the RPMs are at with all those other bikes beside you. So if you let it run too long, you get up in the top and hit the rev limiter. If you shift too quick, your RPMs are too low and your bike's not making, it's not pulling right in the meat of the power. So bikes beside you will just kind of inch ahead. And once their bars are in front of yours, there's nothing you can do to go back by them.
Millsaps on the 118, Kevin Windham on the 14. They're still pretty close to one another. A little bit of a different line there by Windham as he goes down the left side with a narrow entry and wide exit. They end up in the same rut. And up the hill they go once again. A little bit of traffic starting to play into the strategy by some of these riders, but as usual, most of the lap riders very courteous, moving over, letting the leaders race among themselves. Deep dirt, lots of sand and sawdust brought in here. A lot of it will hold up even under the weather conditions that might change. A little sprinkle here and there, and certainly a lot of humidity. But the moisture's draining out of the soil very well. Even though there are big ruts developing, it still seems like they've got a lot of traction.
Well, it's been overcast and kind of drizzly, so they've got this dirt watered really, really deep, really well. And yeah, it is. It's great traction. Like I said, they bring in sand and sawdust, all kinds of different things, and till it up very deep. So this is one of the best prepared tracks in the circuit. These guys do a great job every year.
Battle continuing between the two Hondas of Davey Millsaps on the 118. Kevin Windham on the 14. Gets close, gets inside, makes the pass. Nice move there by Kevin Windham. Just kind of stalled Millsaps out a little bit, and now it's going to be the youngster that's going to see if he's got something for veteran Kevin Windham.
That was textbook there. He just went inside, didn't make any contact, but closed his line off and slipped right by him.
So now Kevin Windham up on that real off-camber turn, big high line. Some of the riders still going way down low, but only if they're forced there. The faster way still seems to be the short way around, up high on the ledge.
Yeah, you're covering such a shorter distance that even though it looks like you're going slow, you end up coming through there quicker than if you went all the way to the bottom.
Well, Ricky Carmichael is still out front as we take a look at our Toyota leaderboard. James Stewart second, Chad Reed third. As we watch action deep in the field. Suzuki out in front here at the Monster Energy Kawasaki Red Bud National. This man has little, if anything, left to prove in the sport of motocross, supercross, or anything else. And yet he continues to be the standard by which all are judged, including James Bubba Stewart, who really has beaten Ricky a few times straight up in motos and even overalls, but not for a championship.
He's the only man that can match him in speed, but today seems like James is still feeling the effects of the beatings he took at High Point and Southwick, and it's understandable. I mean, those were terrible crashes. Don't know if it's physical or mental, but you know, he's got a little bit of work to do to build up back to where he was, and I think he's obviously not looking to win this championship anymore. He just wants to come out, have some good races, continue to develop their bike, and maybe try to get some wins straight up against Ricky.
Davey Millsaps in 5th position right now, 1 spot ahead of Nick Way. Kevin Windham has passed and now left young Davey Millsaps.
Millsaps has been training with Jeff Stanton all week. Stanton lives here nearby in Michigan, and I'm sure he's been trying to share some of his knowledge. Stanton's obviously a multi-time national champion. Definitely knows what he's talking about, knows how to win #1 plates, and anything he can do to share that with Millsaps, who's a young kid and looking to move into that position, I'm sure he appreciates. And Honda, that's what Honda pays Stanton for. That's his job at Honda, is to mentor the young riders that they're bringing up.
And of course, former Stanton teammate RJ Rick Johnson is something of a mentor and a team member for Suzuki and for Ricky Carmichael. So while those two former teammates have gone their separate ways and are now rivals behind the scenes, they do have something to offer to each of their riders. James Bubba Stewart on the Kawasaki, running in 2nd position. Everybody's really spread out here, and while they're going awful fast, it has the look of practice in a way because, well, there's not a lot of racing going on.
Yeah, nobody really racing each other. Might be more interesting here if we pan the camera to the fans and watch these guys. They're rowdy no matter what's going on.
Well, based on that group that was behind Aaron there at the start of the show, I would have to say yes, it would be interesting. Perhaps not suitable for family television, hard to say.
Yeah, their talent's impressive too. I've seen guys swinging their t-shirt with one hand, holding the beer with their other, and not spilling a drop. Now that is skill.
Absolutely, and practiced over some 33 years here at Red Bud. Ricky Carmichael still earning some cheers from the crowd as he takes a look back, has enough time to do so. See just how close James Stewart might be. Kicks it out a little bit.
Pulled a little double can there. That's Brian Swink's old move. You can tell a guy's old school when he pulls one of those out.
Well, Ricky Carmichael has an appreciation for the old school, as we call it, and he's pumping his fists to the crowd as he circulates the racetrack here. Moto #1, a victory is going to be certainly his. Ricky Carmichael will cross the finish line, jump, and has earned the win in Moto #1 here at Red Bud.
Crushed him.
That's James Stewart. Head-to-head competition against Ricky Carmichael. This time it's advantage Carmichael as Stewart works his way through lap riders towards the finish line. We'll be back to hear from them right after this. There, and as he does, he rides right up. Nearly perfect performance here, and Ricky Carmichael and his mechanic Goose Gosler sharing a word after the finish there. Probably already talking about how to improve the bike for Moto number 2 as we look at our Suzuki Moto results. Ricky Carmichael, James Stewart, Chad Reed, the big 3. Kevin Windham, Davey Millsaps rounding out the top 5 as we look at the remaining positions here. We'll hear from some of our winners, beginning with 3rd place Chad Reed.
Chad Reed once again keeping it consistent. Chad, you're basically out there riding your own race this afternoon. What goes through your head at the point where you can't see the guys in front of you, but you've got nobody behind you to push you?
I was trying to latch onto those 2, and man, they were just kind of hitting the turns real hard, and I went into one really hard with them, and actually got a rock stuck up in my rear brake, so I just kind of had to adjust to that, and then it was tough. They got away, but no excuses. I was putting my head down, and I was thinking, hey, these guys pretty much ride with no rear brake. Maybe I can do it too, but man, they're hauling butt out there. So, just another good start like that, and try latch onto them.
James Stewart making a comeback after taking a little bit of time off. James, only 6 short days ago you got back on the bike, and you've only been training half days. How do you manage to pull this off, especially still not feeling 100%?
It's hard. All I can do is try my best. These fans out here are great, and I'm doing it for my team and my fans and my family. These guys want to see me race, and that's what I do. So try my best every time we go out. We can improve, we can get better, and we will.
Our Racer X hole shot went to none other than the number 4 Ricky Carmichael. He's gotten used to doing it, and he did it again.
Well, he stated it time and time again. Redbud, you couldn't wait to get here. Ricky, this is one of your favorite tracks in the entire circuit. Somehow, some way, you always manage to come out front. 7 victories in all, including your 125 career. What is it about this track that you love so much?
Yeah, no, I don't know. I love the fans here at Redbud. They love that number 4 Makita Suzuki, and I tell you, I feel great. We made some changes to the bike, and it was awesome. Super, super awesome. I felt good. I felt like I had some more to pull out of the bag if I had to, and that's the first time I beat James heads up. I know a lot of people's been saying that, and we had the perfect race, and I'm glad I came out on top. We both stayed up, and I won, so super pumped.
Nobody does more to protect your right to ride than the American Motorcyclist Association. Every racer on the track's an AMA member, so how about you? Call 1-800-AMA-JOIN or visit AMADirectLink.com. The AMA writes riding and racing, which is what we're doing here at Redbud Track and Trail in Buchanan, Michigan. Moto number 2 coming up in the not too distant future. So as the track preparation will continue, we'll take a break. National, and they're finding their spots for Moto 2. Let's go to Aaron Bates.
As these guys are on their parade lap, making their way back to the gate, just check out who it is that I found here. The former Lights Division champion, Ivan Tedesco. Ivan coming back from a torn labrum last year, or pardon me, just after Vegas Supercross crash. You're going to be expected to come back at Millville. You've been watching this all go down in front of us on TV. Where do you feel you'd be faring right now if you were in contention with these guys?
Man, I don't know. It's hard to say. I've never raced the 450 outdoors, but during testing I felt really good, and I'm looking forward to coming back and battling with those guys and trying to throw it up on the podium. And it's kind of weird, the class, everybody's so spread out. There isn't too many battles going on, so hopefully I get in there and get some battles going.
Now, you've been working hard with Ricky Carmichael, your teammate. How much has he helped you along the way?
Yeah, he's helped me a lot. Throughout the Supercross season, he was there whenever I need anything to ask a question or this or that, and outdoors he's probably even better. So I mean, it's good to have him around and under the same truck, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to get back on the bike next week and start practicing and then go from there.
Well, I talked to Ivan last week, and he's planning on making his return at Millville. He's been doing a lot of cycling and a lot of therapy on the shoulder and swimming and things like that, but hasn't been back on the bike yet. So hopefully when Millville rolls around, he's ready to go and competitive and can get up there and mix it up a little bit.
It'll always be good to see Ivan Tedesco out there, and as he put it, in the mix, maybe getting some battles going. Well, we hope that he gets his way at least. As we get set here for Moto number 2, the gates are up. And the gates are down. Ricky Carmichael, center of the screen on the number 4, sits back to get some traction. Is he going to get hole shot number 2? Yes, it appears as though he did. And right behind him, once again, James Bubba Stewart. So the 2 best motocrossers in the world have found one another again here at the start of Moto 2.
It's like deja vu, man. Same guys right up front.
And Timmy Ferry, I think, slotted into 3rd position. Thought I saw the number 15. Carmichael already opening a little bit of a gap on James Stewart. He was pretty happy about beating James straight up, as he put it, for the first time.
Yeah, it surprised me. I mean, he's won the Supercross title against him. He's got a huge lead in this series, and yet still there was people saying, oh, well, anytime James stays on two wheels, he beats Ricky. And I think that aided RC a lot. He didn't like people saying that. And so even still at this stage of the game, at this point in this series, he still is happy to beat him straight up.
And finding ways to motivate himself, even after, as I said, he has nothing left to prove. James Stewart trying to stay close. Carmichael on the force said that he and his mechanic had made some changes and the bike was awesome. So even though they are virtually perfection personified, they keep trying to make it better.
Yeah, he said after that first moto, he felt like this was the best he's ever had this bike, and he can push it as hard as he wants, and the bike's not holding him back. So that's great. If those are changes that are consistent at every single track and not just here this weekend, that's great for him. He's going to continue to chop his lap times down.
Well, he said he felt like he still had a little extra in reserve in case he needed it. Well, so far James Stewart has not given him the opportunity to need it. As we watch a little bit further back, there's K-Dub on the 14 bike. A lot of Hondas all lined up one after the other.
And that's a pretty good juxtaposition between a factory rider like Ricky and James, who are still out testing, out working on the bike, trying to just fine-tune any little detail they can, whether it's engine or chassis or tires or any little aspect of the bike, or versus a guy like Tim Ferry, who's on a privateer team, the Moto XXX Honda. Those guys are done testing for the most part. I mean, they've got a limited budget and only so many things they can do and try. And it's like at this point, they're just going, all right, well, good luck, you know what I mean, and sending them out there, and they do the best they can do. So to see Ferry running up front, or Nick Way, guys like that, you really got to give those guys credit.
Davey Millsaps leading the Honda parade over Travis Preston on the number 11. Kevin Windham on the 14. They're all in front of the 22 Yamaha Chad Reed. That's the way they line up right now. Preston, was he waving as he went over the jump, or was he going for a tear-off? It was a little bit hard to tell. There's Millsaps on the 118. Slight lead over Preston. Preston, Kevin Windham, then Chad Reed, then a big gap. Very technical track here. Some of the mechanics using that very slow spot on the track to try to keep an eye on their riders. Windham throwing some dirt at our cameras too.
That's a great jump to watch the guys sort of scrub speed and try to stay low. In fact, there's a photo of James Stewart scrubbing it where he's got his foot peg dragging all the way off the face of it. And it just makes you appreciate how amazing he is on a motorcycle, not let alone all these guys, but James especially with that scrub. I mean, it's named after him, the Bubba scrub. So he's incredible to watch him do that.
Travis Preston trying to hold off Kevin Windham here. Chad Reed, who was running up in third position in Moto number 1, finds himself out of the top 5 in Moto 2. Here they come. Millsaps through the turn. Here's Preston once again with Windham challenging. Now Kevin Windham has proven himself very capable of moving up through the field. He tries inside again, and he's pulled alongside Travis Preston, taking the spot. Kevin Windham moves up into 5th position now. He's got to go after Davey Millsaps if he wants 4th.
That was a great pass he made on Preston there. He just squared that off camber up and rolled around the inside of that big right-hand sweeper. Preston was flying around the berm on the outside. Looked like Kevin was going real slow, just cruising through the inside, but it's such a shorter distance. Well, he squirted out ahead of him.
Chad Reed now trying to do something with the number 11 Honda. There is Kevin Windham. He's already made the pass. Looking forward only at this point. Davey Millsaps is quite a ways in front of him. Goes for a tear-off. And back on the gas. Up and over the hill.
That jump there is a lot bigger than you think as well. When you come off the top of that thing, your stomach drops. You're jumping down. That's probably 100 feet down off of that thing. So hard to get a feel for it on television, but that's a big jump.
Huge ruts on the face of that next one that they're coming up on right now. Preston, then Chad Reed. There's Kevin Windham opening a little bit of a gap on the number 11. Reed not able to get any closer to Preston. And as we look at James Bubba Stewart is the leader. Ricky Carmichael has tipped over, gotten back up, kept it running, and now he's going to have to chase the number 7 here. So we might see some racing between these two because Carmichael made a mistake, and now Stewart is your leader.
It looked like it was going to be an RC runaway, but now these two are going to have to fight it out.
Well, James's dad is very interested in how this is going to continue to go. Our Toyota leaderboard tells us the rest of the team here at the Monster Energy Kawasaki Redbud National, and putting some new information on the board for the next time Ricky Carmichael comes around. He's not the leader. Instead, it's James Stewart. Here's Carmichael behind him. And let's watch this. This is what the fans paid their money for. Carmichael versus Stewart.
I don't know what happened to Ricky back in that turn, but couldn't have been that big a deal. He obviously kept the bike going. He's didn't lose that much time, but enough to let James Stewart slip by. James Stewart leading. Ricky Carmichael trying to make up some ground here as the two of them battle. Let's go to Aaron Bates for a quick report.
Guys, we spoke about it earlier, Larocco's leap being the biggest jump in the entire circuit. Take a look at what happens if you don't quite clear this leap. That's right, you're going to break some spokes, your wheels, you're going to bend your hubs, the works, frame of the bike. We saw Ricky Carmichael do it yesterday. The whole back end had to be replaced. It's a big jump, and you don't want to miss out.
Well, Sean Hamlin's bike showing the ill effects of coming up a little bit short on Larocco's leap. That one's going back to the truck.
Yeah, and you know when you see 450s coming up a little short on it that it's a big jump. And there's always guys, always a couple guys in the lights class that'll try it in practice. Michael Lessie tried it this weekend, blew his rear wheel out and thought better of it doing it again. And Carmichael did it as well in practice. So these guys are well aware of what happens when you come up short.
Ricky Carmichael chasing James Stewart right now. In the air and down the face of the jump now. The fans are going crazy now. The crowd has really come alive here, and Ricky Carmichael, giving them their money's worth, probably didn't want to tip over there and have to do this, but the fans are loving it nevertheless.
The Pabst Blue Ribbon's kicking in right at the right time here. These two are going to get together and race this one out.
We could reach critical mass here at Redbud Track and Trail with the fans going crazy. James Stewart, Ricky Carmichael, 1-2 on the racetrack. Carmichael winner of the first moto with Stewart second. And of course, if Stewart is able to hold on and win this one over Ricky Carmichael, he would be the overall winner as well.
And that's a little bit of extra wind in his sail. I mean, when he saw Ricky down, I'm sure he went, hey, this is my chance. If I can win this moto, I get the overall. You know, that's got to boost his confidence. He saw Ricky pulling him. He knows his speed maybe wasn't quite there, but I'm sure he's making a run for it now. He's going to lay it all out on the line.
Well, he definitely pulled a lot closer there through the whoops, and at the tail end of it, almost gets up inside. Stewart saws him off at the front. Here comes Carmichael carrying huge speed, makes the pass, and Stewart trying to come back around the outside. They're in two different ruts. Stewart crosses back over on the inside, can't make it happen. Ricky Carmichael takes the lead and holds it. Now he's just roosting all over James.
Yeah, Ricky's just on it. You can tell he feels comfortable. He's cutting inside of him, running it inside. He's feeling good. You're not going to beat this guy.
Well, they said they made changes to the bike, and he felt like it was the best it's ever been. So Ricky Carmichael showing the effects of when man and machine work as one. James Stewart taking the way outside line, trying to stay out of some of that roost. And will he have anything for RC in the closing laps of this second moto? We'll have to wait and see.
And you can see it kind of looks like Ricky can square up and pivot and hit any line he wants. He can make that bike go wherever he wants to go. Where some guys are having to swing around the outside and pivot and bank off of a berm, Ricky can just square that thing up at will and make a turn.
Looks like it's turning just great. Rotating around the steering head there. He plants the front wheel, the back wheel just digging as hard as it can. James, on the other hand, looks like his Kawasaki trying to push in some of the same turns, and he can't get it to lay down and change direction. Carmichael, oh yeah, he's opening a gap now. Stewart's riding as hard as he can, and Ricky's just riding away from him.
I'd be curious to hear what these guys have changed on Ricky's bike. I mean, whether it's triple clamps, you know, they can try all kinds of little things. Just a millimeter here or there will make a difference that you can feel. And sometimes it's just a matter of getting the rider comfortable. If he likes it, the triple clamps or bars a little forward, a little further back, the seat a little higher, a little lower, a little more sag. You just never know what it is, but when a rider finds that one setting that he's comfortable with, that can mean, you know, a second or two in your lap times.
Davey Millsaps trying to hold back Kevin Windham. Chad Reed behind, challenging the both Hondas. So Millsaps fourth, Windham fifth, Reed sixth. That's the way it stands right now. And Kevin Windham, as he did with Travis Preston, makes the pass on Millsaps, moves up another spot, then loses a little bit of grip, and Millsaps takes it back.
He rode around that outside line, had the pass made, but when he came in to hit that crossover, that inside rut, he hit some mud and it kind of stuck and took his momentum away, and Millsaps went back by.
Millsaps holding on to the position after a brief foray by Kevin Windham. Chad Reed with the best seat in the house for this race. And Windham now trying to gather himself for another run at the young Davey Millsaps. Oh, good drive off the corner. This is going to be a drag race up the hill. And they're going to land almost together. Windham with the inside line on the next turn makes the pass again. And this time, no mistake. Kevin Windham moving into fourth position and maybe for good. Our Toyota leaderboard. There's the Honda of Kevin Windham, has just made a move on Millsaps. Apparently Chad Reed has also gotten around the number 118 Honda, and it is third and fourth place Chad Reed. So Tim Ferry, who was running in third, has also had a problem.
You know, there's a lot of people that compare motocross to NASCAR and try to talk about what we need to do to get our sport to that level. And one of the biggest things that's missing is we need more guys at the front. I mean, right now you got Ricky Carmichael and James Stewart, who are pretty consistently a few seconds a lap faster than the next group of guys, which is Chad Reed, Kevin Windham, Davey Millsaps, and those guys. And you know, at a NASCAR event, there's 5-10 cars that can win on any given weekend, and we just don't have that in our sport yet. And right now, a lot of people think it's there needs to be stricter rules to get the guys out of the lights class and up into the motocross class, riding 450s sooner, so that there is more talent, the field's a little deeper, and those guys can sort of continue to improve their skills in the big bike class. But whatever it is, something needs to be done. This cat keeps running away with these races.
Well, he has taken a step, sort of, to do something about it himself, announcing that this is the last season he will run a full championship schedule. Well, Ricky Carmichael is putting on a show, perhaps one last time for the fans here at Red Bud, although we would expect him to come back and make appearances now and again. Carmichael looking for perhaps a different role within the Suzuki camp. Hard to say exactly what he will do. He, as we already have mentioned several times, nothing left to prove. Multiple championships in every class he's contended on different brands of motorcycle. You name it, Ricky Carmichael's done it, and done it well.
And he's already said he's going to do maybe half of each series, half the Supercross rounds, half the Nationals, act as a mentor to Ivan Tedesco, Brock Hepler, or whoever else is still on the team next year. And
final lap for Ricky Carmichael. It'll always be interesting to see. There goes James Stewart the other way, and Carmichael gives him a little, hey, what's up?
Yeah, hard to say what that little head nod means. Is that a, hey, good ride, buddy, or hey, punk, I just smoked you?
And that would be 2 times straight up. If Ricky Carmichael makes mention of it after this one, he's given his fans, his mechanics, and whoever else he can find around the racetrack with a familiar face a little bit of celebration here as Ricky Carmichael turns the last lap at Red Bud.
Now these two are constantly playing little head games with each other. They're polite, they're, you know, respect each other, that's what they'll tell you, but that little head nod, that meant something.
Well, not sure if it meant sorry for you or better luck next time. We should also mention this is round 2 of the Monster Energy Triple Crown. Only Ricky Carmichael is eligible to take $30,000 in bonus money if he wins all 3. The next one is at Steel City. He won the opener. He looks as though he's going to win here, and one more will earn him 30 grand. He's already celebrating, and we still have, well, probably a third of a lap to go.
You know, another great rider that started a lot of streaks here was Jeff Emig. You know, Ricky's on 7 wins in a row or whatever it is, but Jeff Emig always came on strong at the end of the motocross seasons, and he started it here at Red Bud. He'd get wins here and then just start building steam, and won several championships that way.
Ricky Carmichael with plenty of time to look around. James Stewart quite a ways behind him, and no real issues. So Carmichael has the bike working perfectly. He is comfortable, which of course is job number 1. And he's well on his way to a victory here in both motos and the overall, and now he's asking the crowd for more.
Well, he's giving them a little show right now. You have no idea how hard it is to get that 450 flat off a jump that big after riding a 40-minute moto.
Well, if it can be done, Ricky Carmichael will do it. And through the whoops one last time, nice and slow, making the point that he is the best, and the best there is here today for sure. Carmichael will win Moto number 2 and take the overall at the same time.
You tell everybody just appreciates his talent and his skill. All the other teams, you know, managers and mechanics clapping and waving at him as he goes by. Everybody's got respect for this guy.
Well, you may be his enemy, if you want to call it that. He may be a rival, but the respect is universal. As we look at our Suzuki results, Carmichael, Stewart, Reed, again, used to seeing those 3 names atop the standings, and the rest as we look down through all of the results. Let's hear from some of our winners, starting with Chad Reed.
A consistent Chad Reed making it happen once again. Chad, big progress compared to last year here. Your chain broke. You got to be happy with your performance this year.
Yeah, no, second moto, I didn't get the best of jumps off the start, and I was kind of back around 7th or something, and man, it was fun. You know, the first race I just kind of was by myself, and it was kind of boring, and man, second one, me and Kato, we had a good battle, and that was a lot of fun, and man, just kind of wore him down, and then put a solid ride in. You know, I rode as hard as I could. I'm happy for that, and really like this track, so I'm pumped with, not super pumped with third, but I'm happy the way I rode second moto.
Our overall results, of course, with 2 wins. It's going to be Ricky Carmichael over Stewart and Reed again, same order as they were in Moto number 2. So as the fans file out, let's hear from James.
James Stewart pulling it together, your first race back since your injury. James showing a lot of patience in that second moto, as though you kind of just stood back a little bit and let it happen. You're a patient man.
Yeah, you know, felt like, you know, we struggled a little bit on the track. You know, it was on the track, got a lot better that second moto, and Ricky was just running good today. You know, he won fair and square. I mean, there's nothing we could do. All we can go back and work harder, and I see the areas we can make progress at, and that's what we're going to try to do.
You got a weekend off coming up. You're still going to try to get yourself healed up. What are you going to be doing on your downtime?
It'd be nice to be able to ride, actually, and train. You know, haven't been training that much, but going to Unadilla, I like that place, and get 2 weeks solid and riding in, and see what happens.
Congratulations.
Our Racer X Whole Shot Award, same as it ever was in Moto number 1. It's Ricky Carmichael in Moto 2. And with that, take a look at the point standings by 30 over Chad Reed. So that's a comfortable margin as we go to Unadilla, a place that Ricky Carmichael doesn't necessarily like all that much, but Bubba does.
Yeah, Ricky said he's actually counting the laps left that he's got to do there.
Making it now 6 consecutive wins here at Redbud, and 2 for 2 at the Monster Energy Triple Crown. Ricky on a roll, but this time a little bit more tough. You actually went down. James had made the pass on you. You guys kind of a little battle going back and forth.
Yeah, we did. I made it interesting for the fans, and you know, we going 1-2 on the start. We're not giving each other any slack, and that's what it's about. You know, we got to do it. You know, we gotta do it. I can't cut anybody any slack, and I gotta give it up for Makita Suzuki. The whole team have been working really hard. I want to thank them, and you know, I love this place. This place has always been good to me.
Well, it was certainly good to him again here today, and the fans gave us a treat as well. David Pingree, a very enjoyable weekend of racing.
Yeah, great to see Timmy Ferry back and doing so well, and really looking forward to Unadilla, where James Stewart will have 2 more weeks now to ride and prepare. Ricky Carmichael doesn't like that track so much. James loves it. Could turn out to be a great race.
Well, we're looking forward to it already. Unadilla coming up in 2 weeks. For David Pingree and Aaron Bates, I'm Brian Drebber.